Hi, this is Greg from Structural Toolkit. Structural Toolkit has the ability to provide stamps to projects exported to PDF. The most common use of these stamps will be to place page numbers on all of your exported PDF computations. However, you can use these stamps for any kind of PDF document, and so it can have a wide range of uses. In this video, we'll be going over how to set up stamps and align them perfectly within each exported document. You can apply these stamps from either within Structural Toolkit or by using the separate PDF Manager program. We've done a video on the PDF Manager previously, so check that out if you're unsure about any of its features. Stamps are applied to a PDF based on a coordinate and font size system. As each computer will export files slightly differently, there isn't a stamp setting that works for all, and so you'll need to determine the correct parameters for your own PC. Setting up your stamp parameters is easiest using the PDF Manager, but first we'll want to create an STK design exported PDF to use to fine-tune our settings. With Structural Toolkit open, we'll want to pick a module that has 2 or more pages when exported, such as the Steel Window support, and open it up. Then on the Setup tab, where you want the page number, change the empty entry to the number 12345. We'll be using these numbers as a reference to align our stamps. Then go to the Document tab and click Export. This will create a 2-page PDF file that we can use to test our stamping parameters on. After clicking OK, this will open up the file's location. If you have changed this setting to not open up the folder, then you can right-click on the project pane instead and click Open Folder. We'll then copy the newly created PDF to a temporary location, such as C-Temp. You'll then want to open up the PDF Manager program, which can be found in the Windows Start menu by searching for PDF Manager. In our case, we already have it open. Do know that you will need an active license of Structural Toolkit to be able to use this bonus utility. From the window with the PDF which is created, we can drag it into the PDF Manager. The stamps option will then become available. Here we have some default presets, which you can try if you want to see if any of the presets are close enough. For example, we'll be editing the first preset. We'll input our test stamp as 12345, being the same as what we put in the setup page. Now to work out our font size, we'll need to go back to Structural Toolkit again and take note of a certain scaling factor, which can be found under File, Options, and Print. Here we have a value called Member Print Zoom. This might be different on your computer, so note down what the value is. In our case, it's 97. Structural Toolkit by default scales the background design modules by an additional 95%, so we'll need to multiply the 95 by the value you have set here. The scalar in our case is therefore 0.95 times 0.97, which equals 0.9215. The fonts in Structural Toolkit design modules are 8.5 point and Calibri, so we'll want to modify this 8.5 by our scalar being 0.9215 by 8.5 for our case, which equals 7.83. So if we go back to the PDF Manager and in the size input, we'll put in 7.83. Do remember that depending on your member print zoom setting in Structural Toolkit, your font size may be different here. We'll be aligning our stamp to be top left, which is how the text itself will align to the stamp position point. Finally is our position inputs, which are in millimeters, and positive or negative sign of the coordinate will determine which side of the page the measurement starts from. So for a positive X value, the measurement is from the left side of the page, and right for negative. Y is then positive for top and negative for from the bottom. Working out the exact position you need to specify can be done in a number of ways. You could brute force it with trial and error, or print off the page unscaled and measure the distance manually, or use the measure tool in Adobe Acrobat or a similar third-party program. It's likely your Adobe will currently be in inches, so you can either change it to millimeters in the program or convert it after working out the measurement in inches. In our case, we'll try the Adobe way. Here we have our PDF open in Adobe Acrobat. And what we'll want to be doing is measuring to the top left corner of the text, both horizontally and vertically. To make it easier, we'll zoom in a bit. Make sure that you've scrolled to the side and top all the way to the end. We'll then go Tools, Measure, turn on the measuring tool, start measuring both ways. We end up with measurements of 33.6 and 12.24. So we can try entering these into our PDF Manager. So we'll enter in our X of negative 33.6 as it's from the right, and our Y of 12.24 positive as it's from the top. And then click Stamp. We'll save our stamped file alongside our original PDF. We can see we're somewhat close with this input, so we can probably slightly change the numbers to get closer. Once you've achieved a level of accuracy you're happy with, you can stop. In our case, we might want to reduce the Y coordinate a bit and slightly increase the X. Skipping ahead a bit, we can see we're almost exactly on top of the original numbers, so this will probably be a good place to stop. In our case, we ended up with numbers of X equals 33.66 and a Y of 11.75. You can repeat this process for each of the fields you want to customize for stamps. Next, we'll want to actually try numbering our pages. Remember to change back your header in Structure Toolkit to be blank. And in PDF Manager, change your stamp to be hashtag of dollars in order for it to do the page numbering stamp correctly. We can then export our document again. And in the PDF Manager, remove the old one, drag in the new, and then click Stamp. This time we'll save our stamped file alongside the original location. This then gives us some fairly well placed and sized page numbers for both pages. These settings for the stamps are saved in the Structure Toolkit settings file. The settings are shared with the Structure Toolkit stamp feature, but do note that if you are customizing the stamps, you will need to close the SDK application after starting the PDF Manager in order for the settings to save correctly. With your correctly saved settings, you can then use the stamp feature in SDK itself. This way you can apply your stamps automatically whenever you export your entire project. That about covers PDF stamping of documents for Structure Toolkit. Feel free to check out our website for other tips and videos. Thanks for watching.